나도 막 아주 와르나시기 루벽에 체대 졸라 롬니에 강야 안에 라양 자 고급 상부 총부당 다나 신기 당만에 만체대 만에 가수래다 벤제뇽 장가로 차대요래 제상 상으로 양간 제약의 고급 상부 총부당 안다나 신기 안장으로 가수 구수 대당당 다나 신기 차례 지진의 주인의 개버치지에 대비돼 통도 가버샤총 제상 상으로 해야 되는 자시베 섬지당 저스들의 샤이 땅아 가상만 나보 아주 줄라롬니에 강게 리다 쇼네 나리야 가상만에 나닝만에 지 가정 안에야 지 비다가 가주에 마 깨지시에 버자만 임바 최로 데지 시행고를 됐습니다 다디 가상 더지데 연두산 가상 오만에 로사곤 레베니 몬데가랑이야 파시 송수삼서 다가나지 최로디 데데 쇼베지리야 최데시야 당에 대파 최데 데 가수르다 제자디 녜베데 신데는 제제 다선이 로르므로 봐 제자 안에 드린 나베 다 드린지 용의 인데도 해사지 다 된다도 도로 들이야 더 최대 최시 제야들도 무고야 공부 쉬자스 가래선다 주 수수용은 당하나 수수라니 미네다 좀 배설로 시에스르지마도 신나게요 말에 다 조디에는 지 경근 여왕부 쇼네 바지 로다바 미네지 나자 제제대야 집규는 거 하래 안다나시 경근지 더지 도시한신 붙여있네 안에 집회유서래 다나시 아주 아니 장군라메 계속 아니 지금부터 좋아해 배 다나신게 있는 건 님의 라신 대 기준인데 뭐 위에 인도사 권한수이네 잡던들에 와봐 배아 두주로 용거래 아니 대라서베 땅 안주지 추규림에 게 라신카 남버순데 페두산에 아니 권한주기 마지 최세 남부 이민나 아니 외신 참벌을 지당 에너지 가르에 된담래야 피뉴 용토야를 지금 그러마도 당에 술지 마치 최세 제와 총나 나라의 오차와 안 지난주에지 년조 수보다 야부시다 용만에 자서 등에 공부 쉬자 안데 남주 교임이다 다드네 마시 남균징에 지 참sam지 계제지 초여라 메라르 망고지 참sam지 만조려야 시고 개요아래 따이면 디주 많체 지당 만조르지 나는 공부르지 미네 지당다 공부르지 제 따이면에 토린랍르지리아 지 계시에 줄라롬냐 간지 계시에서 두산다 되지 지 차스지르지 다디지 신앙사부르지 제샤 가래서나지 다만 토린로를 세두산다 지금에 지 개범한 좀 돼서지 개배 다 자살을지 자대요 아래 다나시 상원로 롬예 나시미 인두산에 다 간다지 다 직배 럽세네 장도 남주의 제세네 장도 바르시메 급 인두산 디버루도 바질 미지 용화제 그야지 라차라 마찰라지 균제에라 메너지 시에요나다 되고 초스게 믿어와 다 드린 비싸네 다딩아 두르나로 연도 계시야데 kalā khabar shto da yimi ne
And so in this environment in the university, it's hard for me to speak about this. But so if I come here and I think about, actually, I've met many of you before, so I feel like if I'm speaking with people whom I know, then it's a little bit easier. I have not actually a whole lot to say. I haven't had time to make many preparations, but the main thing is that we're in a Tibetan university. But for us Tibetan people to have a Tibetan university here in the middle of India is like one of the greatnesses of the Tibetan people. Actually, it's easy to... There are many different institutes, places given the names institutes or university, but actually here's one that is, named so by the Indian government. That's recognized by the Ministry of Education. And so to have a real authentic university is something that we can all feel confident about. And so it's because of the great masters and the teachers and so forth and all the workers who are working hard with pure motivation that we are able to have this university, and it's not necessary to say much about that. If we think about in terms of the history of this place, there are many people who have come here who have had great intelligence, great learning, great scholarship and attitudes. And I'm sure that many people will continue to come in the future, and so there's not much that I need to say about this. It's really worked out quite well so far. But sometimes in our Tibetan society, sometimes you have the problem that lay people don't have enough status. Some people and so we often set a limit, and we're sort of satisfied with a certain limit. So we need to actually compare ourselves to other countries. We need to compare ourselves to other countries and see, does our studies, does our education fit, how does it compare with other countries? What areas do we need to improve? Generally in the among Tibetans, we have basically a Dharma practitioner's thought. We think, oh, it's okay, there's no problem. And so this sort of, we're too easily contented. Of course, it's good to be contented, but sometimes we're contented about things that we shouldn't be contented about. And so if we're too easily contented, then it's a little bit strange. And so this is like a kind of laziness on the behalf of Tibetans. It's a change in errors in this world. And so we have a difficult matching with the situation in the world that we're in. So we need to look on a more distant, take a longer term view, have a wider perspective on things. and improve things. We should think about how are things, what have we not done the best that we need to do, what still have to be done. It's important for us to think about what it is that we need to improve. And also, since we're here at Tibetan University, the library is a very excellent facility. The university library is one of the largest libraries for us refugees. And the facilities are really excellent, and for myself and for all the students. It gives us a great a center for us to do research and study. And this is very... Sometimes I think when we're monastics, I think that when we're monastics, we think we have to give everything over to the Dharma. But we often don't really think too much about the life, and so it just passes by. And so many professors, in terms of they may be lay people, they may have the upasaka vows, but in terms of how they treasure things, in terms of their studies and knowing the great texts, and they spend their entire lives researching, doing research and academic work, and they bring great results in this one lifetime. When we look at this, sometimes I'm a little bit embarrassed looking at this. I wonder if there's actually any need for us monks to do what we do. Actually, this is something that we need to take responsibility ourselves, but when the lay people, householders do this, for example, if you think about with the conjure, the main conjure that we usually we just arrange the conjure, and we don't really examine them or do any research on them or think about them. We don't really compare the conjure and the tenjure in Tibetan. And we don't really, and we also often feel like we can't really compare the text written by the great Tibetan masters with what's in the conjure and the tenjure. Particularly when you think about the foundation of Tibetan tradition, the Tibetan of Buddhism, it comes down to the Indian tradition. So it's different than it was in earlier times in Tibet now because we are close. We've come to the source of our ancestral dharma and culture. And so whether it's in terms of the dharma or whether it's in terms of the fields of knowledge, this is an area where we get this real good opportunity to really do research into this area. And so this is something that we actually need to put more time into and really put our attention on. And we need to, as soon as this is just something we need to really consider. But I'm not sure exactly how to express it. But I think that if we can do this, it will turn out well. When you think about we Tibetans, often it's like it's a it's kind of for Tibetans when we go through, we've come to India. then we come here and we go to the places and we look at the ruins of all the great places, and there's not really any person we can really point out that we can say there's a person there who's keeping the tradition alive. But in Tibetan, there are people saying, you say that in Tibet, maybe we could say that there are people who have preserved the traditional practice or of study. But from generation to generation, we've really been maintaining the Indian traditions of Buddhism very well from generation to generation to generation. And the reason that this has been able to happen is that now we've once again come back to our ancestral. So we've been invited back to our ancestral lands. And we have a chance to introduce to the people of India, or give something for them to look up to. And so in this way, there's this great history between Tibetan peoples and Indian peoples. As we think about previous terminus, there are many disappointments in the past. When you think about whether Tibet or India, the history is there are many things that, of course, we should be embarrassed about, particularly in these days. Most of the people there are many people who come to. There are many people who try to refute Buddhism, and many of them in Tibet as well. Now, many people have a lot of attachment to their nationality, and so this is a time when people are. So it's the time when the people's nationalism is really increasing, and so. And so it becomes, when you have that attitude, then it becomes, maybe it's not appropriate to do the Dharma and politic connections. It's not appropriate to that. But so in this way, think about the Dharma with the Buddhism. So we think about the Dharma flourished in Tibet, but then later, and so if we think like within Tibet, Long Dharma had tried to wipe out the Dharma, but then was killed by a bikkshu. And later, then when you think of it, and sometimes when I think about this, and I think maybe was that a mistake that he'd. When you think about the history, if there was a Tibetan dynasty, Tibetan emperors who were still available, then maybe that would be something that somebody could look up to, whether in terms of our economy or so forth. If there'd be some sort of power that could have come from that. But since the dynasty was ended, and everyone's able to see all the different problems that have happened since then. And so this is how I think maybe this is. So when people think about all this, sometimes people get very angry. And so I think that when we talk about Dharma, some of the things that we talk about that maybe we're a little mistaken. We talk about, forgetting about this life or things like this. Maybe this is just the easily misunderstood. And so there are people who are actually also writing books refuting Buddhism, but they're actually getting together. And so they actually get people together, They say, oh, we're going to recite some Vajraguru mantra, people gather, and then they say, oh, Dharma's like this, like that, and they criticize the Dharma. So some people who have some knowledge of Buddhism, and when they try to refute or rebut Buddhism, then it's even, they're able to make stronger points, stronger arguments. And so people, ordinary people, when they think, oh, maybe it really is like that, and that even if it's like a fallacious reasoning, or they think that Buddhism is a fallacious reasoning. And so this situation has occurred. When we think about it, if one side actually it's kind of it's a benefit, profit for us. So when these other people are really examining things, then we have a new opportunity for us to think, oh, what is really going on? There's a new opportunity to look at things. And we can develop new experience of it, I think. We think about how is it that they're making the rebuttal? What can we respond? What kind of logic can we use? So we have an opportunity to think about it in new ways. So when you think about it, actually in our history, there are many problems that have occurred in our history, and the biggest problem, the biggest fault has been, the biggest problem is that we've had such divisions between our religious traditions. So it's not okay not to look at history, but when you start looking at it, it just gives you a headache. And so he did this, they did this. And when you start talking about it, I wonder what can you do about it? There's not much to do. We can take a lesson from this and have all our traditions come together without any sectarian biases. And when it says in the treatises that when the Buddhist teaching is going to disappear, it's going to disappear because of disputes within the teachings. And so maybe actually I'm someone who fallen into this trap myself. As someone who is supposed to hold at the teachings, but sometimes I wonder that I'm going to fall into this myself. This is something that we all individually have to important, but even if we're not someone who's supposed to uphold the lineage, we do need to think about. We have to make think about it or make a commitment not to do that. Usually when you think about when you go for refuge, I go for refuge to the Buddhas, the Supreme Among those are 2 feet. Go for refuge to the Dharma, the Supreme Among all the 3 of dimension. Go to refuge to the Sanghas, the Supreme Among. So we're going for refuge. Are we going for refuge all the Buddhas, all the Dharmas, all the Sanghas? It's not saying, oh, we're going to the Buddha of my own tradition and forget about the other traditions, Buddhas. It's not that like that, is it? So whether the Dharma is a scripture realization, whether it's our own tradition or not, it's something that we need to take refuge in and have faith in. And whether we say that it is scripture and realization or not, is something that we shouldn't just do from our own biases, but something we should examine with our own intelligence and discernment. And so when we examine and research things, if it all comes down to our own opinions, then you wonder, how can we really decide anything? The Buddhist teachings are inconceivable, they're uncountable teachings of Dharma, and in terms of individuals, it's very difficult to say whether a particular Dharma is good or bad. For example, if you try to teach emptiness to a Dharma to a person who's not ready to hear about emptiness, then it's not appropriate. And when you think about secret mantra Buddhism, there are many things that if people aren't ready for are not going to be able to understand. And so for that reason, and so we should not be too close-minded about it. Instead, we have to take a very open and broad perspective. In particular, the main thing for the Dalai Lama's teachings to be able to, or activity to spread throughout the entire world, is because of his non-sectarian attitude to all religions and all Dharma traditions. And it's because of that his activities may be able to spread throughout the entire world. And if we were also to have such similar intentions and actions, it would also be able to spread. Otherwise, it'd be very difficult for our own actions to spread throughout the world. And so this is something that everyone should keep in mind. But of course, it's difficult to remember this. And so when we think about all these myths, sometimes people don't really understand. Maybe they don't understand such, and then they try to think that they'll bring up this issue and that will maybe change something. But often it's just a question of they're not knowing something. If people don't know what's happened in the past, and and so we shouldn't worry too much about the past when we think about the situation. One bad habit we have among Tibetans is we have this tradition of passing on gossip, saying this and that. Whether we're able to give the exhibits, we pass on the past things about the past. We aren't necessarily able to pass on the scripture and realization, but we sort of maintain the stories about the past. The main instruction we give is the sectarian bias we've had in the past, and we forget about everything else. And so this is really second or bad way of doing it. So it's important for us all to keep this in mind, because we are in a difficult situation with Tibetans. And so in this time when we are in such a difficult situation, if we have an opportunity, we have to do whatever we can to take it. In particular, whether it's making connections with other peoples and so forth, and we need to do that. If we're able to do this with that, then I think that it'll turn out well if we not just do it in order to get a short profit. So otherwise I don't have much else to say. So once again, I've had a chance to see you all again, and I'm very happy about this. And in the future, I hope that I'll have the chance to see you all again, and to have the opportunity to maybe spend a little bit longer time with you. Would be nice. And I'm very happy that you've all asked me to come here again this year. And I'm very happy that you all have all come here this year. So I hope that you will, so that you're happy, whether that you'll all be healthy, because whether you're doing Dharma or a new worldly thing, your health is important. Taking care of your health. You sort of think that this is a selfish thing to do, but actually when you think about it, it's not that. In order to bring benefit to others, you need to have good health. Otherwise, if you don't have, so in this way, if you maintain your health, it's for other. So if you can take care of your health, then you'll be able to do great things for the benefit of others. And so for that reason, I hope that you all will stay healthy. And I pray that you, whatever you do, Dharma or otherwise, go well.